Introducing Justice League's Child Law presentation on young people, mental health and the justice system. Our aim of this presentation is to critically analyse the prevalence of young offenders suffering from mental health issues and the current supportive and preventative framework that is provided for these offenders in the criminal justice system. The criminal justice system has at times been described as the catchment area for young offenders with mental health issues. It cannot be denied that the health problems faced by young offenders are inseparable from their offending. Indeed, any mental conditions in which young offenders face contributes directly and indirectly to the crimes in which they are committing. Young people are substantially different in their emotional, physical, mental capacities in comparison to adults, especially when dealing with the prosperity of facing charges within the criminal justice system. As a result, young offenders within the Australian legal system are considered vulnerable people. However, it should be noted that the combination of being a young offender and simultaneously suffering from mental health issues place these offenders at an even higher rate of vulnerability, especially if the criminal justice system fails to appropriately address the underlying health concerns from the outset. This concept is further reinforced in an article by The Guardian, describing the failure and lack of support for young offenders with mental health issues as juveniles, who become trapped in a vicious revolving door cycle. With this in mind, experts in this area have suggested that young offenders who are evidentially suffering from mental health issues are at a higher risk of committing risk-related behaviours, experiencing social and family problems and other physical health deficits. Other disturbing studies have found that young people in an Adelaide Youth Training Centre had emotional and behavioural disorders at a comparable level to young people attending adolescent psychiatric services. These studies illustrate the severity of the issue at hand and, in addition, further demonstrates that the mental health conditions suffered by these young offenders are a direct consequence of chaotic social backgrounds, lack of education and family support. Evidently, when it comes to young people who have so much of their lives still ahead of them, it is important to address mental health issues which may be contributing to their offending as soon as possible. The quicker young offenders' mental health issues are addressed and treated, the sooner these young offenders can successfully rehabilitate to be set on the right path. Experts have suggested that the only way forward in circumventing young offenders who continue to reoffend is to tackle the underlying problems that are affecting these young offenders head on. Our presentation focuses on the current legislative framework and healthcare management programs that are in place to deal with young offenders who are suffering from underlying mental health conditions when charged and arrested. In assessing current statistics against the backdrop of the current Australian legislative framework, our group aims to decipher whether young offenders with mental health impairments necessitate a distinct criminal justice response and if our current mental health services adequately support the needs of young offenders.
Created using Powtoon.